Welcome to this week's episode of the Unit Podcast. Before I get into it, I want to give a big shout out to Limerick Handyman. Limerick Handyman covers most jobs around the house, and if something he doesn't cover, he should be able to point you in the right direction. Whether it's carpentry, plastering, tile repairs, plumbing, or electrical work, as well as smaller jobs like flat pack furniture assembly or TV mounting, he'll even put up a curtain pole for you. So check out the website and send him an email or a WhatsApp. All details on limerickhandyman.com. That's limerickhandyman.com. Get it done. Welcome along. Episode number 7 of the Unit Podcast. Why did I say welcome along? That's what I'd love to know. So I started oversharing again, big time. I noticed it the other day. Somebody asked me about something and it was none of their business. Now, it wasn't as if like they were wrong to ask me the question. It was just a general question about something in my life that had nothing got to do with them. But instead of me just giving them a handy short answer and just going, yeah, it's this and that. No, tried to go back. When I was 7, I always have to go back too far. And I fucking hate it about myself. I just overshare all the time. And I'm there and I'm halfway through all the information that I'm giving them. And I'm thinking, why am I telling them this much? They only asked me this part. Why am I telling them about fucking my mother's 2 hip replacements? Know what I mean? I don't know, it's a weird one. I just don't, that's me just, I don't know, is oversharing, my arms folded again. I wonder, is me oversharing something to do with my overthinking? Is my brain just, bouncing off the limiter, and when I'm trying to tell somebody something, there's just loads of things flying through my brain, so I'm just shooting it all out there instead of just the necessary... Sorry, now I choked to death there on the word necessary for some reason. Instead of giving them the necessary information, am I just spewing out everything that my brain is doing? And I'm literally just after thinking that right now. Maybe that's what it is. Even when I'm recording and I'm talking, you'll notice that I go back on myself and I'm like, no, hold on a second. And one of the boys actually said it to me. He listened to one episode, or watched it maybe, one episode now, cheeky cunt, and he comes on, man, you're fucking explaining that bit too much and all this. I'm like, man, you know the story. Most of the fucking stories in the bonus episode were about you. So, you know the story. So that's why he's not even going to listen to this. Fucking prick. But his girlfriend will. You tell him. He's there telling me, going you explained this bit, you over-explained that and over-explained. It was just constructive criticism. I'm only acting the bollocks. But the reason that I do that is because I feel like I'm telling a lie. And if I slightly change the story, or I think I might be slightly changing the details of a story, I'll feel like I'm telling a lie and I'll double back. And I'm like, oh, wait, hold on. That's not 100% correct. I better tell the story properly. And for example, on the bonus episode, you might remember the story where I got pulled over by the guards and had cardboard boxes full of rubbish in the car. And when the guard picked up my credit union book, he said, when the guard picked up my credit union book, I said, what are you doing? Give me that. And he said, I'm searching you under the Misuse of Drugs Act. And I goes, yeah, but not under the misuse of a credit union book. And the reason that I went back, so previous to that in the story, I said that the guard told me he was searching me under the Misuse of Drugs Act. Now, I'm fully sure he said that, but you see, I was thinking to myself, wait, he said that when I tried to take my credit union book off him. Did he say it at the start too? I don't know. So I didn't want to lie, even though it doesn't matter a fuck. I could exaggerate the story and make it funnier for the podcast, but I can't. I feel like I'm telling lies, and I feel like I don't like that feeling, because I don't understand why. We all know somebody who just lies for the sake of it. And I started to think lately, is that a problem that they have in their brain that makes them exaggerate stories or fabricate or just make up things? Like, I don't know, is it an insecurity thing or what is it? I've never actually looked into the psychology behind it. Now, obviously, I wouldn't understand too much of it. When I say look into the psychology, no, I mean like ask Google or ask ChatGPT, not go fucking read a book, because I couldn't do that. I'd rather like ask my Google speaker or something like that and just get her to say it to me. And she'd just be like, "I'm sorry, I don't understand." And I'm like, "I don't understand either, like, but tell me what the story is with liars and spoofers." Um, was it spoofers or spoofing that I said to somebody before that wasn't from Limerick? And they were like, "Oh, you got them spoofers." And I'm like, "Yeah, I did not hear that before." So, yeah, I don't know. Is it a Limerick thing to say spoofers? It's not, is it? I think I'm fully sure I have, but whoever this was, anyway, I can't remember where they were from. Probably somewhere stupid. But I said, like, "Oh, he's a bit of a spoofer, that fella." Nah, that's a fucking normal thing, isn't it? I don't know. But yeah, they thought it was funny that I was calling them spoofers or whatever. So that made me think, is it a Limerick thing or what is it? I can't even make eye contact with the camera. Isn't that weird? Like, I know I'm weird in person, but even with the camera, I just feel like I can't make eye contact or something. I just look away when I'm thinking. Why is that? That's very weird. But also, in the bonus episode about that same fella, his cousin actually texted me, and she said, "You realise that you could have just pretended he was another one of the lads in the house and asked him to go get the Sky card. You didn't have to do this big secret thing where he had to, because I was ringing pretending to be him. So, like, I could have said, I could have pretended that he was me and that I was him. And I could have said, Walsh, will you fly up there?" Or not even said his name. I could have just said, "Will you fly up and grab the Sky card out of the bedroom?" But instead, we were doing this big secret mission. And, like, he had to sit there in silence and not talk because, sure, the woman on the phone would have known then that he was him and I was me. Do you know, I'm me. But, yeah, and she just pointed that out. She was like, why, you didn't have to make the whole secret thing. You could have just done that." I was like, "Oh yeah." And after all the years, I never actually thought of it like that. And that mad. Um, if you didn't listen to the bonus episode, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. But definitely go back and listen to it because it's brilliant. Um, and I'm saying it's brilliant because they're real stories. And like, if I made it up, what am I even trying to say? Why am I trying to fucking? The episode is brilliant. That's it. The episode is good. Yeah, no matter what, it's good. Fucking hell. It's that stupid thing of like, Irish people just can't admit that they're good at something or they're proud of something. And I'm fucking proud of loads of things and I'm good at loads of things. And it's about time that I start fucking admitting that, because I wreck my own head by going like, "Yeah, it's grand, like, you know, fucking, yeah." Do you know, like, people, if people say something to me like, "Oh, your video, this video, that video," I'd be like, "Ah, yeah, I know, yeah, it's stupid, yeah." But then when people say it about the podcast, I'm like, "Yeah, podcast, yeah, do you enjoy it, yeah? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I love making it now." And I'm not awkward about that. But anyway, the reason that I was doubling back on myself that time was because if I create something or, you know, make a video or a song or whatever it might be, and I think it's good and I'm proud of it, whatever, and then I won't tell people, "Oh, watch that, it's funny," because it's about me. Do you get me? But that bonus episode was just all stories that I was telling, so I can say that they're good and they're funny stories because I'm just retelling the stories. It's not like I created something or made something up. So yeah, after over explaining the shit out of myself, and I didn't even need to, but that's just my brain. And like, I feel like you're going to get sick of me talking about my fucking brain, but like, people who have been watching me for years always kind of said like, "Oh, what you be doing now? Sitting home smoking a few joints, doing all that stuff." And I'm like, no, I fucking couldn't. I'd vomit my ring up if I tried to smoke a joint. Um, or anything else for that matter. So yeah, so this is just a bit of an explanation as to how my brain works for those people and for, I suppose, for my new followers as well. I'm going to take us up off my tea now for the audio listeners, all right? And if for the visual video watchers, you can laugh at how I fucking take us up off my tea, you bullies, ye. Oh, that's nearly cold. That's good, isn't it? Oh, that's brilliant. I'm delighted with that now. And I forgot to bring in any other drink, so that's good as well. Delighted with that now. Um, but yeah, so my brain is doing a lot of are they called stims? Do you know those things where you just repeat things, or you just say words, or you say like lyrics of a song or whatever, quote things. But mine is doing it in my head. And do you know what's stuck in my head for ages? That fucking TikTok sound out. Big Bird, Sesame, Big Minge Energy, rat-ta-ta-ta-ta. That's stuck in my head for about 3 weeks. And it's wrecking my head. I cannot get it out of my head. And also the way I process things. When I see something, I'll quickly process it. And my brain is just like, yep, that's what that says. So I was walking past the place in town. It's a burger place, right? And I was walking past the window, and I read what it said on the window, and I thought, why does it say mash party on the window? So in my brain, for a couple of seconds, I was looking at it going, mash party? The heck is a mash party? But then I realised what it says is smash patty. And I'm able to read, but my brain is just like, yeah, you don't need to take in that. Yeah, mash party, that's what that says. And I'm there going, what's a mash party? I thought it was something that they catered for. That, like, we cater for mash parties. Book your mash party now at this burger place with mash party written on the window. Mash party. But, yeah, so I'm still after coffee. And I think it's no, it's not before Christmas, is it? Is it after New Year's, maybe? But I'm going, well, I haven't even had one cappuccino, like, and I used to drink about 6 a day. And not even for the fact that I needed them. I just loved the taste of them. But they fucking, I don't know, after the third or fourth cup of coffee in, my stomach feels like there's a small robbed car in there. Do you know, kind of, yeah, shits. And I'm going, oh, my fucking stomach. So that's why I stopped drinking coffee. And I'm still going strong, still off it. Should have brought in another drink or a can of Coke, which is another drink. I don't know why I had to put in a different category than another drink. Sound like another drink or a can of Coke. Same thing, really, isn't it? But I need to lubricate the throat off myself. You're sick, and no, I was going to say you're delighted. You're sick, and no, that I'm taking normal sups off my tea. But look, that's what it is. That's what it is, yeah. I was getting a cup of tea the other day in a petrol station, and a fella came in, and he really made me want a coffee because of how he made his coffee. Have I got another cup to show you? No, oh wait, I'll use this one. Oh, I do have another cup. Yeah. So he walked over to the coffee machine, right? And pressed the button for his coffee. And my brain straight away was like, he doesn't have a cup under that machine. Why is he pressing the button? But what he did then was grabbed his cup out of the cup. Fucking, you know that thing that fucking launch across the shop if you touch half it wrong, the springy thing with all the cups on it. So he took his cup out. So he walked up to it, pressed the button, and the machine starts. So as that was happening, he just grabbed the cup off the oak and boom, put it in underneath the thing. So I was like, oh, this fella's fucking living on the edge. So that was fine. The coffee started filling up. So as that was happening, he whipped out his sugar, like got a bunch of sugars, however many he took, right? Ripped the top off all of them. No, that's not that impressive. I always do that myself, right? Ripped the top off him. Wait a minute, now what way did he do it again? I feel like he did something cool with the sugar as well, but I can't remember. I don't know, but he ripped the top off the sugars anyway, and we'll just say he threw the top of them in the bin, right? Poured his sugar into the cup. Yeah, that's what he did. He poured his sugar into his cup, right? And as he poured his sugar into his cup, he started, like, rotating the cup slightly, like, kind of at an angle, but, like, spinning it around, if that makes any sense, right? And as he was doing that, he then threw his empty sugar packets into the little bin. Why am I fucking making my hand look like an ostrich's head for some reason? But he was doing all this, twisting the mug around the place while it was filling up. So he was after putting in his sugar, spun his mug around, and so he threw his sugar into the bin yoke. And as he threw his sugar in there, he reached down and got himself a lid for his coffee. And the second the machine stopped, he just popped the cap on the cup as he was walking away. And I was thinking, that was class. Like, that was just the coolest cup of coffee making. Ah, you fucking prick. Everything is just falling over there. Sorry there, and I just fixed my life. My whole life is falling apart here in front of your very eyes. Father Pig fell over. My tape fell over. Now fucking Peppa's after falling over. She's probably going to hit Mother Pig. And Mother Pig has a small baby, like. So I definitely don't want to knock her over. That fucking tussle onto me. 1 second now. I hope I'm not making a gammy sound on the microphone. So turn the cup. Which way was the cup turned? This way. Yeah, this is very interesting now for the audio listeners who don't know what the fuck is going on. But basically, absolutely everything fell over on my shelf. I don't know why I looked back at the audio listeners to tell you that. I was actually looking at the video listeners who already know what happened. So I'm sorry for sharing too much information with you. I feel very hyper today for some reason. Don't ask me why, but I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm very hyper. And what that made me think of is I used to work in a place before, right? And people from all different like garages and stuff like that around the city would come to us, right? So there's this one fella who used to come to us, and he was always very serious and just deadpan. Do you know what I mean? And no emotion kind of a fella. Do you know what I mean? He'd just walk in and go da da da, and then you go, yeah, no bother, and he'd go da da da, and he'll walk away again. And that's just his manner. Do you know, that's how he is. So I was at the petrol station the other night, filling up diesel, and I spotted him walking out of the shop, right? First of all, as I pulled up, I spotted a car. Obviously, I didn't know it was his car, but I spotted a car, like almost right outside the door of the shop. Like it was well past the petrol pumps, and it was like pretty much, it was like if the shop had a 24-hour hatch, that's where the car was parked. And then your man was just, like, the door is like 6 feet from that or whatever, 10 feet from that, 12 feet from that, right? So I looked and I saw this fella walking out the door. And when I saw the car and I saw him, I was like, oh, yeah, I know why he's driving that car, right? So I see, I don't really want to describe him too much. In case someone listens, because people listen to this podcast, but I'll just do it. So he had loads of hair, right? Lots of, like, he had hair, loads and loads of hair, right? And he wears tracksuits for work. Opposites, right? So he wears tracksuits for work, right? Very unformal. And always a big smile on his face. The biggest smile on his face. Video YouTube people are going to see what I'm talking about now, but it might not be as good for the audio listeners. Can you hear my stomach having a house party? And all I did was but I had no dinner. Oh, that's why my stomach is having a house party, because I'm drinking tea and I had no dinner. But anyway, so I saw this hairy tracksuit, smiley face man walking out of the shop to get to his car, right? The second he walked outside the door, as he was coming through the door, he had a big packet of Skittles, right? So I thought nothing of that, obviously. Next thing, he rips open the packet of Skittles, right? And grabs a handful of them, he grabbed a handful of Skittles and put them into his mouth and started chewing them. I was just looking at him going, that looks so alien to me. To see a man like that, who you're used to dealing with in a work environment, such a serious person, and doesn't seem to have much character, and then you just see him like mucking into a mouthful of Skittles. And the reason why I told you how close his car was to the door was because he opened a big bag of Skittles, not like the big hanging pouch. He opened them and grabbed a handful of Skittles and put them into his mouth and started chewing them before he got to his car, which was about 12 feet away. And I just thought it was the strangest looking thing to see a man out in the wild like that you recognise from a work environment, and just that he's an actual human. Do you know what I mean? Like, I do things like that, but I wouldn't expect someone like him to be doing things like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I could go into a shop there and get like one of them fucking, them little snowball things in the clear packet. I could get one of them and just rip it open and eat it on my way out the door of the shop, and It wouldn't cast me a thought. But then when I see someone like that doing it, I'm like, oh yeah, everyone kind of does things like that. Do you know? It's not just me, but it kind of is just like, I don't know, I feel like it is just me in another way. No matter how hard I try, I just can't get into the habit of getting out of habits. That makes any sense. I just have to be I have to be drinking a cup of tea or drinking a can of Coke or a bottle of Coke or Lucozade or whatever it might be, right? I have to stop saying whatever it might be because it's starting to annoy me. But I always have to have something, do you know, to keep my. I suppose it's probably dopamine hits I'm looking for of all these different things, right? Because I don't do anything else for that. Do you know, I don't. Yeah. So I always have to have like a bar of chocolate, a cup of tea, a fizzy drink, a bag of potatoes, a fucking fizzy drink, a cup of tea. I always have to have something at all times. And it's driving me mad. And I suppose it's probably dopamine hits that I'm getting from it. I actually spoke to somebody about this recently. Look at me saying spoke. I'm from South Hill, like. Do you know what I mean? I've fucking I have a basic education and I'm saying words like, I spoke to somebody and now I say ketchup as well instead of red sauce. When did that happen? I don't remember going to like ketchup class. Do you know what I mean? I always just remember myself saying red sauce, red sauce, red sauce. And now I just suddenly call it ketchup. What happened? Do you know, I didn't notice that transition and it just happened. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, right? So I always have to have something to pick on, to snack on, to drink, whatever it is. I don't understand it, right? But I'm thinking, like, how am I supposed to stop that? Like, for someone to go to the gym and try to be healthy, like you have to change your whole entire life. You you have to do everything differently. Like you can't just go, oh yeah, I'm just gonna start eating healthy, and then all of a sudden you eat healthy. No, it's not that easy. So 1 minute now. The tea is stoned if I'm cold, so I'm gonna try to drink no more of it. But you have like if you don't change other aspects of your life, you're never going to be able to stick to that. But no, I'm fucking not. I'm not telling you something that you don't know, but I'm telling you what realization I've come to is that in order for me to be healthier and be more active and try to be some bit fit, that I have to change my whole entire life. I can't be driving around like like I went into the shop the other day and I was getting a cup of tea and like I drink a load of cups of tea throughout the day. Like I don't know how many. Like that's probably my sixth cup of tea of the day that I have there in front of me, and that's average. Like that's not high or low. That's kind of average, do you know, for me. And then when I get a cup of tea, I have to be buying bars of chocolate and things. Now, not all the time, but some like most of the time, the cup of tea will do me because I take sugar in it, so it's sweet. So it's like it feels like a bit of a treat. Do you know that kind of way? I don't know what it would be like if I didn't take sugar. I suppose it would probably be the same thing, wouldn't it? Because it's just something to be drinking. Be rolling down the street, smoking Indo, sipping on tea, and not smoking Indo at all. But yeah, so what I do sometimes if I'm in a shop and then I look at the bars and I'm thinking, what bar of chocolate will I get? I'll think to myself then, I'll be looking and going, that one is 270, that one is 250, that one is 220, that one is 310. I'm thinking, why is everything fucking robbery? Do you know? Because I remember how they used to be fucking 80 cent and all, like, but sometimes I'll go, I'll just look at the multi-pack bars and I'll get a multi-pack and I'll have one and then I'll have more of them for tomorrow and the next day and the next day. Yeah, right. So I got a packet of Boost bars the other day, 4 Boost bars, which are used to be called Moros, and it's where they were nicer when they were Moros. But anyway, I got a packet of them and I was like, I'll have one of these. And as I was eating it, I was thinking, they're tiny, like, aren't they? It's like a keyring, isn't it? Like, you could stand on that. You could stand on one of them Boost bars in your bare feet and you wouldn't even feel it. You'd probably just go up through your toes, like, you know, you'd. or even just that kind of arch, the curve on your foot, you probably just wouldn't even notice it's there because it's tiny. So that's what I was kind of thinking while I was eating. I was like, sure, I'll have another one. So if that's the case, and make up for it. And as I was eating, I was thinking, that's probably just the same as having like one of the double boost bars, the long wheelbase one. So I was thinking that I justified it. I was like, oh yeah, sure, that's only the same as eating that. And I'd eat one of them, no bother, So that was grand. Then, an hour or two later, I got another cup of tea. And I thought, sure, might as well have a little boost bar with the cup of tea. What's a little boost bar? And then I was eating that and thought, it's tiny though, isn't it? This boost bar is tiny. So then I had the fourth boost bar, right? So that's 4 small boost bars. Now, I don't know how many. I don't know, is that the equivalent of a long wheelbase one? Or is it a bit more? Or what, right? So I was thinking to myself, right, that's a lot of boost bars. What's your recommended allowance of boost bars in a day? I don't know that. Oh, I forgot to mention. In the morning at 20 to 7, I'm going to say, I was getting diesel that morning, got a cup of tea, and got a long wheelbase Snickers, right? So I was after having the big Snickers. Then a couple of hours later, over the space of a few hours, I'd 4 boost bars. And then, on my way home from work, stopped to get a cup of tea. And what do I do when I get a cup of tea? Get a bar of chocolate. So I got one of the Galaxies. Do you know the Galaxy with the 2 sticks in it and there's caramel in the middle? Got one of them. And walked outside and started eating the bar, drinking my tea. And I thought, oh, I've had way too much bars of chocolate today, like way too many. So yeah, big Snickers, 4 small boost bars, and a Galaxy caramel. And that's all I can think of. But there might be more. But what I want to know is, how in the name of God, like someone who's watching or listening to this has changed their life around and has stopped unhealthy lifestyles and unhealthy eating habits and even fucking bigger things than that. People have changed their lives around with bigger, more incredible things than that, and I just don't understand how you can do it. Like, hats off to you. Like, I'd be all motivated, like, to be fair, I'd probably be all motivated for maybe the day before and then the first day of my new lifestyle, we'll call it, right? Be all motivated on the day leading up to it, or maybe days leading up to it. I'd be all motivated, like, yeah, Monday now, gonna be a change man, change everything around. I'm gonna start doing this. I'm gonna start making overnight oats, bringing them with me in the morning. I'm gonna cut down and not drink as many cups of tea during the day because I take sugar, and obviously I'm not gonna cut out tea. So if I have less cups of tea, then that's less sugar intake. But I cut out all the snacks now and get like them low calorie little square birthday bullshit things that you can get in Dunn's. Those little spongy things with all the stuff on top. I know what they're called. Them square things that are low calorie. I was like, I'll get them now. Have one of them now with a cup of tea in the morning or in the afternoon or whatever. And I'll get like the low, what are they called? Them diet potatoes. I don't know what they're called. And I'll be all motivated. Yeah, perfect. And then on the second day, I might bring it again. And then I'll get home from work and I'll be having a cup of tea and I'll be like, might as well have one of them square yolks again. And then, like, before I know it, I don't have any left. And then I have to go shopping again. And I'm like, but sure, all I need is bars. I'm not just going to go shopping for bars. It'll be grand. I won't have a bar tomorrow. And then what happens? I'll end up having like a large Snickers and 4 Boost bars and a Galaxy caramel. So that's like, I don't know, do I need to get fucking hypnotized or something like that? Because I've tried it so many times over the years and I always fail. I cannot stick to, but then again, I can't stick to fucking anything. So maybe I just need to get a diagnosis and find out what's wrong with me, because there's definitely something not right. And this is one of the things that on a list of many that is just driving me mad, because I can't stick to anything. I can't stick to something like that, and I can't stick to like other things that I say, oh, I'm going to start doing this now, or I'm going to stop doing this, or whatever. Yeah, I just don't understand how anyone gives things up. And fair play to you, because yeah, I don't know. But yeah, what else did it? Oh, yeah. So remember I told you that I was shopping around for my car insurance. I looked at my screen and I saw 0000. I thought, if this episode isn't recording, I'm going to snap. But it's recording, so it's okay. So remember I told you that I was shopping around for insurance, for car insurance, right? I do it every year. Every year shop around. I will not accept the quote that my company give me. I think I might have done that once ever, where I'll get a quote and I'll think, that's decent enough. I won't bother shopping around. I really want to stop after that tea now, but freezing. Your fucking brain freeze off it or something. But so yeah, I've been shopping. I was shopping around for it anyway. And I told you like that I rang this company and they said this and that, blah, blah, whatever, right? So the time moved on. Now my insurance is still not up, but I like to be prepared, right? So I got onto one company originally when I was talking about it that time, and they were like, yeah, here's your quote. And it was a good quote. So I was like, yeah, geez, that's brilliant. Will you send me the reference number so that I can ring up when my insurance is due to be renewed? And he was like, oh, this quote now is just for today. I was like, oh, usually you have like, I think 30 days with a quote or something like that. So he was like, no, this quote is just for today. I was like, oh, right. Yeah, well, I'm not getting insured now, because it was like, geez, it was nearly a month before. I was only after getting my renewal, so that was nearly a month before my insurance was actually up. So I was like, no, geez, I won't be taking it out today, but look, send me the quote anyway. So that way I'd have the reference number and I could ring up and say, this is the quote I got back then. What's the story now? So that kind of way. So that was grand. Left time pass anyway, and then I thought, right, it's catching up now. As I said, the day is still not here yet, but it started catching up. So I rang back that insurance company and I said, look, I got this quote on the day. It was a 1 day quote, but this was the price that I got, right? So they went through it again and they were like, right, well, we can match, or we can do similar to that, but you have to take out this membership with us in order to get that discount on your quote, because you need to be part of a membership in order to qualify for the cheaper insurance. So I was like, right, how much is it altogether? So he told me the price altogether. I was like, right, yeah, that's grand. So I said, I'll ring you back so once I'm home. And because I thought they were going to be asking me for fucking a lot of details and all, and no claims bonuses and license and all that before they'd let me take out the insurance. So I said, I'll ring you when I'm home. He said, yeah, that's fine. Ring us before 5. I said, grand. So I rang him at 5 o'clock. And I said, I got a different fella on the phone. So this fella answers the phone and he's like, hello there, this kind of thing, right? I'm like, right. I said, come here, I got a quote, I said, off one of your colleagues earlier. Here's my reference number. I said, I want to purchase this insurance. He was like, right, that's grand, give me a reference number. Gave him the reference number, he typed it in, and he was like, oh, yeah, there's a lot of discounts applied to that. I'm just going to have to go get the guy who gave you the quote in the first place. I was like, right. So while he was talking, he was just kind of starting sentences and then kind of trailing off. It was just like that he didn't want to be talking to me on the phone, right? But obviously that's this fella's job, is to be talking to people on the phone. So it was a bit weird. So he's kind of like, I can't remember like an example of any of the sentences that he said to me. But we'll just say he's like, oh, I'll have to get the. No, do you know what? It was kind of, I don't even know how to explain it, but it was when he's going through things, he kind of starts going through it and then he'll trail off and just mumble. And he'll go, yeah, your insurance and all details you give have to be correct because, okay, and have you had any, do you know, and he'll ask you the question, but then he'll mumble the end of it. And you're like, again, like, come on, man, this is your job, like, whatever, right? So he went to get the other fella, and the other fella, or he says to me, yeah, he's going to ring you back. He's on another call. I said, that's grand. Got no phone call back. So I rang back the following day and got the mumbly fella again, right? And I says, how's it going? Told him the same thing. I said, look, I want to purchase this insurance. I got a quote off your colleague the other day, yesterday, sorry. And I said, I rang back yesterday, but I got no call back. So I know it was a 1 day quote, but you never called me back. So can I get that quote? And he was like, yeah, check that there now, right? Okay, so yeah, and just like there was at one point there, like, do you know the way they'd say it to you? They'd say like, just to let you know that all the information you give bases your insurance is based on this information. If any information is incorrect, that may affect your insurance or something. Do you know the way they say something like that, right? But what he'd do is he'd go, just to let you know, the information you give is it bases your insurance, and that's grand. And he'll just say that's grand, and he'll move on, right? And I'm thinking, right, because like, you don't care about that shit when you're taking out insurance. Do you know what I mean? You give him your details, give him all your information, you pay the money, and that's it. You don't really care what they say on the phone. Like, nobody does. Nobody's like, oh, wait, hold on. Oh, yeah. Oh, perfect. What did you say? You're regulated by what? Financial regulator? And you're trading as who? And what's the company's name? And who's the founder? And where's he from? Who gives a fuck, right? So nobody cares what they're saying on the phone. But they're supposed to be, I was about to say, they're supposed to be insurance. They're supposed to be professional. Whatever, right? That was grand. So he says, yeah, we'll go ahead with that. So, and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to take your card details. I said, perfect. So I gave him my card details. Sorry, I typed my card details into the phone. They don't take it over the phone. I typed it all in. And he says, do you want us to save your card information for future purchases? I'm now starting again. He said, do you want me to save your card details for future purchases? I said, do. Yeah, fine. He was like, all right, so yeah, just your membership now. I'll just tell you about your membership now. So it covers this and that, breakdown and this. Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay, no problem. Yeah. €60, same card. Yeah. Next thing, bing, get a notification on my phone. I said, what was that? And I clicked my phone. And I was like, did you just take another payment? He goes, yeah, that was for your membership. I was like, hold on, I'm going to rewind. When I was giving him before I told him I'll take the insurance out, I said, look, I have to correct myself. I said, I'm after giving you, I gave an estimated date when I was getting the quote. So I told your colleague it was up on this date, but it's actually this date that I need the renewal for, which is like 3 days in the difference, right? So he goes, oh, there might be a higher premium if you're changing the day. So in my head, straight away, I thought, well, if there's a higher premium, I'm not taking out the insurance. I don't care what the difference is, but if they're going to charge me more for 3 days to take my insurance out 3 days later than I had planned to take it out, if they're going to charge me more money to do that, then it's bullshit and I'm not taking insurance off them. I had another quote from a different insurance company for the exact same price. So I'm very petty when it comes to stuff like that for the simple reason insurance is a fucking lottery. Like, you can ring one person and you can get a quote, and then you can ring back 2 days later and get a completely different quote, cheaper and whatever. And it's just a lottery, and it's totally unfair, the insurance system in Ireland. So I will not accept anything that I think is unfair like that. So as I said, in my head I thought, if the insurance is more expensive, I'm not taking out the policy. I'm going to say it to him. I'll say, no, you can honour the quote that I got yesterday with the 3 days different. And it's not as if I would have been getting 3 days free insurance or whatever. Like, I would have been getting insured 3 days later than I planned and still being insured for the extra 3 days at the end of the policy. So it's still a full year's policy. Do you know what I mean? So I wouldn't have been benefiting from it at all. Like, so I thought, yeah, if it's any different, no, not taking out the policy. No, forget about it. So when he told me the price, it was 45 euros cheaper than what I had originally been quoted. So I was like, lovely, say nothing, I'll take that. Yeah, perfect, no bother. Can I get your card details? Yeah, no bother. Type the card details into the phone, blah, blah, blah. That was grand. So he did all that shit, did all the mumbling. Yeah, 60 euros, same card. Yeah. Bing. I was like, did you just take another payment? He was like, yeah, that was for your membership. I said, why didn't you ask me? Oh, you were well aware of these charges. That's what he said to me. I said, I wasn't aware of any charges. I said, you gave me full price for my insurance. That was your insurance premium, he says. He cut across me. That was your insurance payment. You knew that you had to pay the membership as well. I said, yes, but anyone else who I was speaking to on the phone about this membership, I didn't even want this membership. I just wanted a good insurance quote. And they told me the best way to get an insurance quote is by taking out this membership. And they were giving me a price of the insurance and the membership together as one price, right? So in my mind, it was 15 euros cheaper for the quote. So I was like, yeah, perfect, 100% pay that. But what had happened was he took an extra 60 euros at the end of that, which made the whole entire premium 15 euros more than what it originally was, right? So I was like, why didn't you tell me you were taking a second payment? And he did all that. Oh, you were well aware. I said, no. I said, you're supposed to ask my permission if you're taking more money off my card. I said, I didn't consent for that second charge. I said, I was under the impression that that first price you gave me was the entire price. And I said, when you told me that price, when you told me there might be a difference with the premium, and then you came back and told me that price, it came in lower than what I expected, so I agreed with it. I said, that price was the basis of, no, what was it? What way did I word it? Like, yeah, basically that price was the basis that I was going to take out the insurance. I'm fucking up that sentence now and I can't remember. But I basically said like that I was relying on whatever price it was, that was what was going to make me take the insurance out. So the fact that it was cheaper, I was like, yeah, I'll take it out. But now you're telling me it's dearer. And he was like, oh, it's only 15 euros extra. I said, that doesn't matter. I said, that's besides the point. I said, I based it on the price, and this is a bigger price. And I said, you took money off my card without asking me. And he was like, oh, well, there's nothing I can do for you. That's what he said to me. So this fella like just doesn't like his job or whatever. And he doesn't speak clearly, doesn't speak professionally, and obviously is very confrontational when he's asked the question, because I didn't like, whoa, what are you fucking, or anything like that. I literally said like, what? Did you just take another payment off my card? Confused. And he was like, yeah, I didn't understand what was going on. Like, and he was like, yeah, you were well aware and all this, getting pure fucking passive aggressive with me. I was like, man, I don't care that it's 15 euros, I said. You shouldn't have took a payment off my card without asking me. Oh, there's nothing I can do for you. I said, put me on to somebody who can then. I said, because this is ridiculous. He was like, oh, do you know what? I'll sort it out. I'll refund you the 15 euros. Is that okay? I was like, yeah, that's grand. Is there anything else I can do for you today? I said, no, you're fine. Thanks very much. No bother, thanks. He says, boom, hung up the phone. He couldn't wait to get me off the phone, right? So I thought, you know what? Fuck that cheeky cunt. Pardon my French now, but fuck that cheeky prick bastard cunt prick, right? So I thought, I'm not letting this go. So I left it go a couple of days, got no refund back for the 15 euros, right? I know you're probably watching or listening to this going, fucking 15 euros, seriously. It's not that at all. It's the principle of it. I hate the insurance system in Ireland and the way that they single out certain categories of cars and this and that, and oh, your car is 10 years old now next year, so that means this and that. And you're like, bud, you're penalising me because, do you know, I remember I had a 2010 car when that was about to turn 10 years old, and they were like, oh, it's 10 years old now, so look, we'll do it now, but next year you're going to have a problem. I'm thinking like, you fucking pricks, like stupid little hoops that you have to go through, do you know what I mean? If you go in and spend thousands on a car to get a cheaper insurance quote, do you know what I mean? Or to get insured at all. So that's why it's literally just me being petty for the principle of it, because I don't like the whole fucking insurance system. Um, that was grand. Rang back. Where was I? But I said, yeah, I'm not letting it go. So sorry, yeah. I was not letting it go. And then the following day, I got a phone call. Sorry, no. I tell a lie. So when he said he was going to refund me that money, he didn't. Right? So I rang back someone and I said, look, this happened, blah, blah, blah. What's the story? Oh, we'll have to look into that. No, I don't know. I said, the calls are recorded, yeah? He was like, yeah. I said, pull the call so I listen to it. Here's when the call was made this time, and it ended at this time. This is the date. We're grand. He went to pull the call, rang me back that evening, 5 o'clock. I was after falling asleep on the couch, and this was the following day after or something. These aren't all the same day. I was after falling asleep, got woken up by a call, and he was like, oh, yeah, just let you know there, what we're going to do is we're going to cancel your membership, and instead of it being €60, we're going to charge you again for 45, and then we're going to refund you the 15. I said, right, do I have to do anything? He was like, no. I said, will it affect anything? No, you don't have to do anything. You'll just get your €15 back. Grand, perfect. Heard nothing back, right? So then 2 days after that, I got another phone call from a different fella. And he was like, oh, yeah, just ringing there, just looking into this for you here and all this. And I was like, right. And he was like, yeah, but like, you would have been told about the extra charge. I said, no. You're saying I would have been told. I was not told. I said, this is what I'm telling you. I said, the calls are recorded. Go back and listen. He was like, yeah, I'm going to have to speak to a manager now about that, blah, blah, blah. And just before he got off the phone, I knew he didn't know. I said, you realise now, one of your colleagues, I said colleagues a lot in this episode, didn't I? That's what the episode should be called, colleagues. But I said, you do realise that I got a phone call 2 days ago at 5:01 or whatever it was, like Levi's, a pair of jeans. I said, and confirming that I was getting this €50 back and or €15 back, and that they were agreeing with what I said. He was like, oh, no, there's no record of that here. I said, well, I have a record of it here on my phone anyway. It was this time and this date. Okay, grand. So then he rang me back after a while again, and he says, oh, I pulled that call anyway, and I could understand everything clearly that chap was saying to you, and I could understand what you were saying as well. And he starts going, keep talking. I said, hold on a second. I said, do you mean to tell me that you listened to that conversation? That man wasn't mumbling and trailing off while he was talking. Well, that's just the guy's voice, he says. I said, no. So he was trying to make me out to be making fun of your man or something like that. I said, no, listen, I said, I'm not talking about how the man sounds, how his voice sounds, anything like that. I'm talking about he's supposed to speak professionally and clearly. I said, this is car insurance. I said, when you're in a job like that, you need to speak clearly and professionally with the customer and explain all details properly. I said, he wasn't doing that. He was trailing off and mumbling over things and passing things out and everything. And I said, he didn't ask my permission to take the payment. So he was like, look, this is what I'm saying. He said, I listened to the whole call. I could understand everything. And he actually told you the premium plus 60. I said, what? He said, yeah, every time you mentioned the premium, he said plus 60 after it. He didn't. I was like, right, can you pull that call and send it to me? I said, well, I can, but it's not as simple as just sending it to you. Like, it could take a month. Perfect, no bother. I said, send it to me, even if it takes a month. I want to hear that call. I said, and he was like, but listen to what I'm saying to you. We're willing to refund you the full €60 because at the end of the call, in fairness, he didn't wait for permission to take that payment. He said, what we'll do is we'll refund you the full €60, but then you won't have your membership. So I said, yeah, that's fine. That's fine with me. I said, I was asked to take out this membership to get a cheaper quote. So that's fine by me. Oh, but you won't have your membership now. I said, I don't mind. I didn't want the membership in the first place. That's fine. He was like, right, I'll do that. So he thought that I was going to be like, oh yeah, I'm getting back to €60 now. That's grand. I said, but before you go, I said, I don't want to be made out like I'm making things up here. I'm not saying that at all. I said, but you're telling me that you could hear everything that the man was saying and that he told me about the €60 and that he wasn't mumbling or trailing off. I said, I know what I heard. I said, that's 100% what I heard. So I don't understand why you're trying to tell me that he's not like that or is or wasn't like that. I said, so send me the call. He was like, yeah, okay, I'll do that. I'll put in for that. Anything else I can do for you today? They always put that in at the end and you're thinking, no, man, you're just fucking we've sorted everything out. But yeah, I don't know. Look, it probably sounds stupid, but with things like that, there's certain things that you have to deal with that I just have no tolerance for, and insurance is one of them. And just being treated unfairly in general, I just don't agree with it. Like even in a job or anything like that, if you're spoken to in a certain way by the boss or whatever, like, or a manager, I used to kind of be like, oh, well, thinking in my head, like, that's my manager, no, I can't say anything back. But now, like, fuck that, like, you know, I'm not gonna let you talk down without standing up for myself and talking and saying what I need to say back. Do you know what I mean? But what I'll do is I'll always wait for them to go over the top before I do. And I'll kind of say, like, oh, I don't appreciate now that you're swearing at me. And they're kind of thinking, oh, yeah, I probably shouldn't have cursed at him. Do you know what I mean? I'll try to deal with it properly, but then some other times I might be in a storeroom somewhere and threaten to bounce a cup of tea off someone's head. But look, I wouldn't do something like that, but I have threatened it. Anyway, that's my story about insurance. So maybe the episode will be called something insurance-wise. Who knows? But I got in one listener voice note anyway, for definite. And did I get a listener question as well? Oh, what I did do was I put a couple of stories up on Instagram and asked people questions. So I put a question box on Instagram and I said, look, anyway, I put questions in the question boxes on Instagram and asked people to answer them, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you the voice note. So I did this now the same as what I did with the last voice notes, if you listen to my last episode. So I haven't listened to this voice note. I literally listened to the start of it. He's like, well, Walsh, and he had warned me that this was for the podcast, so I didn't listen to it. I recorded the whole call or the whole message, and I have it on my computer now, and I'm going to hear it for the first time with you. So I don't know what this is going to be. If I need to cut it out, I'm going to have to cut it out. If not, I leave it in. Really I don't know what it is. So I'm going to have to put on my headphones now. And I'll give it a listen with you. Oh, shit. I don't know what the volume level is going to be like. So I hope it's okay. Hope it doesn't blast the ears off you. Nobody complained about the last one. So this one should be fine too. Right, 1 sec. It's gone. 1 second. That's just typical. I closed the tab. Bruh. I closed the tab and left it at the bottom of the screen. And it disappeared. Disappeared. I think this is it. Bear with me a second.
Well, Walshy, I have a story for you, right? Just before Christmas there, the mother was at home in the kitchen and she has this computer. It's about 800 years old, you know. The monitor now, they can see it from space, but she was on RIP checking up the fucking the condolences and all there for the local that died a couple of days, you know, and trying to get the arrangements. So in the meantime, anyway, my sister texted her phone and said, come here, I'm downtown in Southmax with the young lad, and this was a Friday, you know, like the father usually treats the mother to a bag of chips or a burger. That's what 40 years of marriage does to you, but on a Friday night, you know, he goes down and clicks and brings it up. So the mother was like, texts the sister back on the phone and said, no, I'm kind, like, and the father was like, for fuck's sake, would you just get it sorted now? And it'll save me having to go down this evening later on to get it, you know. So the mother was like, yeah, fucking true. So the father was like, text her there, no? So she texts her anyway. And you see the sister, right, done about, I don't know, sure, right, done about 45 minutes later, like, her hands hanging to her hands were long though, her hands were down to her knees, like. The mother was like, did you get my message? My sister was like, no. She was like, I text you there. She was after putting it up on the condolences on RIP. She said, will you bring me up a salad burger and a bag of chips when they're coming? I never tweaked it, posted it, like. So your man's family obviously were reading the condolences and thought my mother's been a smart ass, asking your man's husband any chance to bring me up a fucking salad burger and a bag of chips to heaven when they're coming. About fucking a week later, knock him to the door like it was your man's fucking wife. So the mother had to explain the story, but man, I swear to God, I took screenshots of all of the condolences page. The funniest thing I ever came across. They'll be up a salad burger and a bag of chips to be coming.
Oh my fucking God. I was listening to that whole thing and I was thinking, where's it going with this story? Oh, this is good. Oh, lads, can you imagine? For fuck's sake, man. Oh, that was Timmy, I think, that sent us that. Oh, lads, that's fucking brilliant. Send me the screenshots if you have them, please. I'd love to put them into the episode. I need to turn down this volume now again because oh wait, what was the other thing I recorded? Oh yeah, no, that's something else. But yeah, that's gas. So if anyone has anything like that, you can just send them in. Now I'm going to check my Instagram. I'm going to check my Instagram and see what the stories are. 1 second now. Wait, I shouldn't be delaying for this long because you're all waiting 1 minute now. So I am here. Where is Instagram? There is Instagram. So anyway, like in the meantime, while you're waiting for me to do this, put something in the comments. Anything at all. Just comment anything. Oh yeah, and these that I'm going to ask now, these questions, right? If you haven't answered any of these questions on Instagram, you can put your answer in the comments of Spotify or in the comments of YouTube, and we get a bit of a crack going in the comments as well. So, like people say, like, oh, fucking, I can't wait for a week is very long to wait for the next episode and blah blah blah. But why don't we just get a crack in the comments while we're waiting for the episode to come out? Be a bit of crack for ye and me, and obviously it's good for me to be getting loads of comments as well. So, and don't forget to like the episode and give me 5 stars on Spotify if you can, right? So I'm going to turn down my volume now so that it doesn't play the music. So, what's the first one? What's something small that irrationally ruins your day, right? That was the first question that I put up, right? So the first person said, dopes that can't use roundabouts. Okay, fair enough. So that was John. 1 minute now. So I am going to put on my glasses because I can't see. So John said that about the roundabouts, right? Sarah said, what's irrationally mean? Oh, wow. Someone else said, when your name comes up on my phone. Sound, yeah, nice one. Lee said, people paying at the supermarket and then packing up all their things. Hurry up, will you? I suppose just taking too long to put up the bags. Joe Mack said, cunts standing too close behind you inside in the shop. Oh, that's very annoying. Breathing down your fucking neck. Okay, I'm not reading Danielle's one either. Jolly said, hearing glass bottles going into the bottle bank. I love that. It's not like that sound. That's fucking the jingly glass sound. Oh no, I like that sound. So Jonathan said, when you're tired and your mate is a giddy cunt. I'm sorry, but I'm the giddy cunt. So, like, I'm the giddy cunt in these situations. So I can't say that that'd be annoying for me because I'm the annoying one in those situations. Colum said, when someone doesn't put the milk back in the fridge, that would drive me mad now as well. Be like fucking soup by the time we go out to get it. So yeah, there was actually a good few responses to that. No, I didn't think there would be. So if you want to put that in the comments of what irrationally ruins your day, right? Put that in the comments. Here is the next one. So the next one is, what's the stupidest thing you believed for way too long? So something that you might have thought as a child or whatever, or maybe even in later years, and then believed it for years without realizing that you were wrong to believe that. So, Shane said, no, not reading that one. Shane McCarthy 8, I'm not reading that one, bud. Sarah says that 5k is not the same in a car and walking. How isn't it? It's still 5 kilometers, but you just have to follow, I suppose, like going around roundabouts and stuff like that in the car would you'd be covering more ground. So, yeah, like if you were walking somewhere, you'd cover less ground than a car because you can take shortcuts. So is that now? Yeah? Am I right? Am I wrong? I don't know. Aaron Flanagan says that if you put your finger in cement, it will fall off. Pure bull. I've never heard that one now. Oh my God. Alex said, I thought a round of applause was a randable clause until I was an adult. So he thought when there was something going on and say like, oh, give a round of applause. He thought that they were saying, give a randable clause. And that's like me with the, do you know the Pyrex dish? Like the dish you'd make a shepherd's pie in, that glass dish. Like Pyrex is obviously a brand, but I didn't know that when I was young. And up until, oh Jesus, up until I was an adult, like I thought it was called a pirate's dish. Arr, be making spaghetti bolognese, I do. So, oh yeah. So Carly says, my boyfriend only discovered that it wasn't called a chimney, it's a chimney, and he's 38. There's people out there that still call it a chimney, and even if you tell them it's a chimney, not a chimney, they will not say it. But someone else said, what was it again? Oh, irrational fear. You're not. No, okay. Someone EC says that I thought I got a cow's lick from being licked by a cow when I was a baby. Yeah, I heard that one before as well. Yeah, my sister was fully convinced that she was found. Was it? I know one sister was convinced she was found under a head of cabbage, and then another sister was convinced that she was found. Was it under a head of cabbage or in a strawberry field or what was it? And then another one was like told that she was found underneath the sink or something. And someone else, Danielle said, I save money shopping around petrol. But yeah, so that's something that she thought up until recently when I said it. Dara says that Hitler was a bad guy. Yeah, Dara, I think he was. I think Hitler was a bad guy. So Jonathan says that when I was younger, if I got no runners, I thought it made me faster. That's, yeah. I haven't been asked in years to run around and check how fast my tackies are. It's fucking ridiculous. I hate being an adult. Or when you stop getting birthday card money. Birthday card money? When you stop getting money in your birthday card when you get older, when you need it the most. It's a bollocks, isn't it? So what else have we got? So the next one, this is the last one. What's something adult that you still don't know how to do? So something that you should know how to do as an adult that you still don't know how to do. So we got a couple of answers on that. So Sandra says life. Yeah, that's a good one. Sarah says adult. Laughing face, laughing face, laughing face, laughing face, laughing face. Someone else says, I can't read that name. Oh wait, I think it's S. Fogarty, I'm going to guess. And they said, pause the cat. They're referencing one of my old videos. So Curly says, I rang my mum lately asking how to prepare and boil cabbage. Telpus, tell no one. Whoops. Sorry, Curly. I'm after telling everyone. Jodie says, keep my mouth shut. So as an adult, she doesn't know how to keep her mouth shut. Danielle says, flat packs. That's something that's adult that she should know how to do, but she doesn't. So give limerickhandyman.com a shout. They'll do your flat packs for you. And then someone else, Jonathan, says, an adult. I don't know what that means, but anyway. So yeah, that was good. I thought, I didn't think there'd be that much engagement, so that's something that I'm going to do now in future. Before I record, I'm going to bang up a story and ask you about, stupid questions like that. So yeah, but what I was saying about the insurance as well, right? Just to go back into that a small bit, but a different part about it. A couple of years back, when I was renewing my insurance, I I rang them up and I got a quote, and they were like, how many no claims bonus have you? And I told them, like, I said, look, I'm fucking driving years and I've never had a claim, but my no claims bonus from my previous company just says 5+ years, right? So this is actually a tip now for you in case you get caught out with this, right? So I said, it says 5+ years on it. And he was like, yeah, that's fine. As long as you're saying that it's more than that and it's basically a full bonus, then we'll accept that. And that's good enough for us. I was like, yeah, perfect, that's fine. So at the end of the phone call, he was like, yeah, if you can send us your documents or whatever. So that was grand. I sent all my documents off, and a couple of days later, I get an email. And they were like, oh, you said that you had whatever many years no claims bonus, but you actually only have 5 on your bonus. So I was like, right. So I rang up the insurance company and I said, I want to speak to somebody there about my policy, blah, blah, blah. Grand. Did all the security questions and then was like, just to let you know that this call is recorded for training and quality purposes. I said, perfect. And they were like, what? I said, that's perfect. I said, that's what I wanted to hear. I said, all calls are recorded. I said, will you go back and pull my call from when I took my insurance out and listen to me say to the man on the phone 3 or 4 times that my bonus says 5+. Is that okay? Is it going to be honoured as a full bonus, like 9 years or whatever it is? And he was like, yeah. I said, I want you to go back and pull that call. I said, because now I'm after getting an email saying that I'm after sending an incorrect fucking bonus. And they were like, oh, okay. And then a day or two later, I get an email. Yeah, that's fine. That's accepted. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, why don't they? Like, I could have easily been fucked there now, like, and not got my insurance, or they might have thought that I was trying to fraudulently insure my car or something like that. Do you know what I mean? And only for I rang them back and said, no, the call's recorded. Listen to the call. So if there's something like that when you're taking out your insurance, just make sure you say it clearly and confirm it again and just say, just to confirm now, my bonus says 5+. Is that okay? And then they'll be like, yeah. So you know you've said that. So then if they go back on anything, if they go back on their word, because they wouldn't be long pulling you up if you said something incorrect. If you said, oh, I've only 3 points and you have 6 points, they're going to ring you back and say, you told us you've only 3 points or whatever, 6 points. Now, I don't know. Some people don't tell their company about points, but I always do just in case, because they have your driver number now as well. So they can just look it up, I think. Yeah, so just confirm it, and then you always have something to go back on. And if they come back then and say it, you can say, pull my call, and screenshot your call with the date and the times of the call on it after your phone call. And then you know, until you have your insurance up and going and you have all your disc and cert and everything like that, then you know you're grand, you're insured, you're fine. And then you can delete that stuff out of your phone. But that's something that I definitely do going forward if you can. And send me, if you have any stories about stuff like that, you can send them to me as well. The engagement is not great with stories and things like that, but I think I'm after finding out how to get stuff out of you is by asking you direct questions, like telling me about, you know, those things that I put in my Instagram story that I already forget. So that's what I'm probably going to do in future. But if there's anyone who has an interest in our funny story, like Timmy did, send it in to me. You can email it to me at walshunit@gmail.com, or you can send it to me on any of the socials at Walshunit. My TikTok is at Walshunit41. And yeah, so I'm going to leave it there. And love you and leave you. And for the people who I don't love, I'll just leave you. Is that all right? That's what I'm going to do, all right? And I someone told me something that I can say to sign off the episode. And I can't remember what it is. Because I was thinking, like, yeah, that sounds kind of all right. And I was going to tweak it kind of my own way. But no, I forget what it is. So, stay in vegetables and eat your school. Yeah. And I'll talk to you next week. Consistent as always. Signing off. Kind regards. Walshunit. The unit, the unit, the unit, the unit, the unit, the unit, the unit.